I'm concentrating.
Hello, Jeff.
Hello.
How you doing? The board can hear you. Do you want to explain what you want to do? Do you just want to zoom in and do your presentation, I assume?
That'd be great. Yeah, I got stuck behind stopped traffic in Garrison, New York. And so thankfully I had enough time to turn around and get back to my home desk. So, yeah, I can share my presentation and ready to go when you guys are.
Great.
Okay,
Are we gonna let people in?
I already did. We have 5. We have Mike Vaughn, Elizabeth Cottonworth, Claudio Guazzoni. And
Oh, God.
Mike is on. Video is on.
Dear God, what has happened?
Wow.
Maybe just
I don't know.
close out the website and reopen if you're having a hard time opening stuff up.
I do want to see if I have a problem also.
If somebody can open to the website.
Okay, let's see.
Your ad blocker may be stopping pop-up. No, this may be stopping pop-ups.
Which one do you want to look at, the agenda?
Yeah. Now, this is wrong.
Testing.
Can anybody get the agenda? It's not uploaded, the wrong one. This is completely not right. Shocking. I spent hours on this and I know I'm right.
Video. Oh, look at him. Yeah. I don't understand what I'm doing. Who's that? Yeah. I don't know how to use it. They don't even show up. We have 1, 2, let's see.
Jeff, do you want to start your presentation?
Sure, that'd be great. Oh, great. I can share my screen now.
Okay, Jeff, I'm David McFadden, the mayor. Why don't you introduce yourself, please?
All right, thank you so much. Yes, I'm Jeff Demansky. I'm the executive director of a nonprofit that's been in New York since 1996. And I'm part of a team that is supporting this program. It's currently in 16 communities in the Hudson Valley called, it's by the wonky policy name, it's called Community Choice Aggregation. And it is something I'll happily go into it. But I'm sorry to not be there in person tonight. I was explaining I was stuck in traffic, but I was very much looking forward to going inside Tuxedo Park since I grew up in the area, but have not spent time in Tuxedo Park. So, but I've been working in this field, the environmental and sustainability field, for about 30 years. And very excited by this mechanism that is called community choice aggregation. This is my nonprofit. If you can see the slide, can you?
It's
No.
All right. Let me
Well, we see slideshow. There we go. Why is there an echo?
All right. So now, does that look okay now?
There you go, Jeff. You're on track.
All right, very good. All right, so I want to be brief. I know we just want to spend a little bit of time to give an overview of what this program is, and I'm happy for the opportunity to do so. Community choice aggregation it's in essence, it's a policy mechanism that was allowed, that the state allowed cities and towns and villages to do on behalf of their community members. What we're focused on in this policy and these default energy offerings that are allowed through this mechanism is primarily electricity supply choice. And so it also can be used for aggregating and giving opportunity to ease the ability to access community solar, but our primary focus is on electricity supply. Electricity supply choice is something that every utility customer in New York since the 1990s has had the ability to take advantage of on their own. In the 1990s, the energy markets were deregulated, and our utility companies, including Orange and Rockland and Central Hudson, a lot of people don't realize, but deregulation turned them into just delivery companies. So they get paid and can only make money on delivery services. The supply portion, the how and where power is actually made, the product, is not something they can make money on. So you can think of an analogy, in essence, that utility companies are like FedEx or UPS or the Postal Service. They don't make the product, they deliver it, and they get paid to reliably deliver it. So, as I mentioned, every utility customer could go into the private marketplace with any of a dozen companies that are out there to engage a private contract to designate how and where and how much they want to pay for electricity supply. But what community choice aggregation did, and it was enabled in 2016 by the Public Service Commission, as shown on the bottom of the slide. It allowed cities and towns and villages to, in essence, aggregate together to have leverage in the supply marketplace to create a choice option for their community members. The state enabled this for the reasons shown on the left in the white box. It's a win-win-win scenario, through the structure that the Public Service Commission created. It's the idea that through the leverage of this aggregation, this bulk buying club, if you will, you could get a very competitive rate for electricity supply. That is also, and this is our focus, in my, from my experience of working in the environmental field for nearly 30 years now, we're interested because it's a mechanism that not only can you get a very, very good rate for electricity supply, but it can be for 100% renewable source electricity from New York State sources. So kind of a have your cake and eat it too scenario. But very importantly, and not least importance, it's the idea that through the structure of the program and the simplicity of it, it's a fixed rate program for a fixed period of time, that there and other elements where there's no contract for the community members. If the program launches, there are numerous consumer protection elements baked into it. And so on the right side of this very wordy slide, the two main reasons to answer the question, why should a community consider doing this? Because there are a number of bad actors and have been in the energy supply marketplace for the last few decades, and because it can be confusing, especially with these new opportunities like renewable energy options and community solar and other elements of the transition to the new smart grid. This program allows communities to act on behalf of their community members to protect them from the bad actors. Basically, there's missteps that can be avoided by offering this choice option, and optimize the choices that can be obtained for electricity supply or for community solar. So vetting what's out there to make sure that of all the little mechanisms that could be adjusted in these offers, the community partnership optimizes the offer. So two significant public benefits that are grouped together through this program. Again, to answer the why should they do this? If they can do it on their own, why should a community do it? It's to protect the community members and optimize the offer. To think about the mechanism of how a community goes about doing this, and I'll share a slide that shows the steps from start to finish of a launched program. The first step is passing a local law. And I think it's useful to think about this analogy of the CCA enabling law as established by the Public Service Commission. It is like a Swiss Army knife. There are many tools inside that knife, but the local law simply gives the community the ability to use that knife if they want to, or that tool if they want to. They don't have to take out any of the tools in the Swiss Army knife, but the law gives them the ability to consider, to explore, and do many steps in that exploration without any commitment to continue. But the law simply enables a community to do it. And so an argument, and more than 150 communities have done this in New York State, is it's almost a no-brainer to pass the law to see if it makes sense, to go through the steps that I'll describe in the exploration process. And again, the two main tools that are being used are the tools on the left, the electricity supply buying club, and it can be used for community solar as well. But what I'll focus on tonight is just the knife, the buying club for electricity supply. I found it's useful to explain how this program works by looking at the customer's utility bill. And so this is an Orange and Rockland utility bill. Pretty eye glazing for most people to look at this with all the line items and numbers and the like. But there's a simple tour of the bill is very useful for folks. There's several bills in one on this page of the utility bill. And people find it instructive to understand that. The first section that I've highlighted in red is the delivery charges section. And this is the only section that that Orange and Rockland is allowed to make money on, as I mentioned, because of deregulation. All of those line items are for delivery services, storm damage repair, billing, customer service, infrastructure, that is all included in those line items. And that never changes, regardless of whether a person has made a choice in the supply marketplace or participates in a CCA. For better or for worse, that never changes. That is what Orange and Rockland controls and has control over. The section we're talking about with this program is the supply charges section. And it's a little cramped, but inside the green box, there are 3 line items with, in the first row, the kilowatt hour usage shown here, consistently 502 kilowatt hours. 3 line items with rates, cents per kilowatt hour, which each get multiplied by the kilowatt hours for a $1 charge, which adds up to be the total of supply charges. These rates, these 3 line item rates here, if you add them up, you get the 5.906 cents per kilowatt hour on this example bill. That is the supply rate. And this is the supply rate for an example month where the utility company is making the choice for the customer. If and when a program launches, the change that happens is, instead of the suppliers that the utility company chooses each month with a varying rate, it's never the same from one month to the next, with this rate changing from one month to the next, the 3 line items are replaced with 1 line item with 1 rate that stays the same for the duration of the program. And that is typically a 2 or 3 year contract. So every month, the same rate. And I can show you an example with the Central Hudson bill, what that looks like. The purple box is surrounding the adjustments and service charge section for where community solar or solar benefits show up. I won't go into this in depth, but just to make the point that electricity supply, the rate that somebody pays for however much electricity they use, is something that is different than whether the benefit they might have for having solar on their home or business, or a community solar subscription. In essence, virtual subscription and ownership of a remote field of solar panels. Happy to go into more detail, but just want to emphasize a point, which is a common confusion, that having solar on your home or business or having a community solar subscription is not the same thing as electricity supply. They are 2 separate mechanisms, as shown on the real estate on the utility bill. So again, for the most part, we're talking about the CCA main tool is the ability to set a fixed rate for electricity supply. I just revisit that point. This is redundant here. This is my menu analogy, just pointing out the choices that a utility customer has in a CCA community. There are 3 choices for those supply rate line items. The first choice is the utility company, established by deregulation, will make that supply decision for a customer. As I indicated on the previous slide, there are 3 line items when that is the case. That is a New York State determined default. That is an existing opt-out program, which was established by deregulation in the 1990s. That's the situation that every utility customer is subject to. Because of deregulation, there is a second choice. There is that private third-party supplier marketplace. Companies like Green Mountain Energy, Ambit, this is something that an individual customer can choose to do. They can opt out of the original default and choose to get into a contract with a third-party supplier. CCA, if it launches in a community, becomes a third choice. A supplier that's selected by the community, typically in aggregation with other communities, becomes the new default choice, a fixed rate for a fixed period of time. And my asterisks here indicate that this is a new default. It replaces the original utility company decision maker default. So that's just revisiting. Another point to emphasize here is that none of the choices are ever taken away from a customer. Even though CCA supplier choice becomes the new default, anybody can opt out without any charge or penalty at any time and take advantage of the other 2 choices. So it truly is a menu of options available to a customer. This is a very busy Central Hudson bill. The only reason I'm putting this on is for a before and after. There's a delivery charges section, supply charges section, the same thing with solar down here in the payments and adjustments. I'm just going to show what happens when a program launches. This is my bill from Beacon. This is the before. This particular month, I used 573 kilowatt hours. The utility company was making my choice. There are 3 line items. When the program launched, the supply line items became just the 1 with our program rate. This was our program rate in Beacon for the period of 2019 to 2021, 6.361 cents per kilowatt hour. That's it. Everything is included in that rate right there. There's no charges to the town to do this, no direct costs. There's no subscription fees or penalties or anything else for the community members. It is simply offering a fixed rate for a fixed period of time. This is near my last slide. I can show you performance of a program to the south of Tuxedo, but these are the steps from start to finish for a community in the exploration and potential launch of a CCA program, starting with passing a local law, which I think is where the village is right now. The second step is choosing how to administer the program, which could be and has been for most communities, choosing one of the state approved administrators, organizations that have filed an implementation plan with the Public Service Commission. All of the steps, these first 6 steps shown in this box, are what I call the no commitment steps. This is the reason I suggested that passing the law is a no-brainer, because you can do all of these steps and there's no expectation by anybody, including the administrator that might be chosen, to proceed with the program. So these no commitment steps start with passing a local law. There is public awareness building efforts as required by the Public Service Commission. The no commitment period ends with the design, the assembly of a request for proposals by the administrator, wherein the community has voice to what their requirements are for considering moving forward. You step out of the commitment box if the RFP is issued and a compliant proposal comes back. And then you move on to all the other steps for launching a program, which I'm happy to talk about, but I won't go into them in detail. Again, the lower right, just emphasizing there is not any direct cost to the town or any community member for the program. The administrators that work on this do this at risk of hope that a program will launch. And again, Tuxedo Park, I believe, is still at the point of considering passing the local law. So this is like in the mall with a map, you are here. So there are more than 150 communities that have passed local laws. My nonprofit is working with one of the administrators called Jewel Community Power, who 16 communities here in the Hudson Valley are working with this team in these 2 programs, as shown in the circles here. And the last slide I'll leave you with is the performance of the program for the Rockland Community Power Program. This is a rate comparison chart. And in brief, there are 2 program rates that were offered for the 6 communities shown on the left in the Rockland Community Power Program. The 100% renewable fixed rate is this one, shown at about 7.2 cents per kilowatt hour. It started in November 2020. It runs all the way through October of 2022. I've been tracking the utility performance across each of these months. That's the orange and Rockland number, the yellow line. The blue line is the running average of the yellow line. So I've just kept an average of the utility rate as we've gone through. And you can see that when we started, the utility rate was at a non-renewable fixed rate that was offered through the program, an additional choice, the non-default choice in the communities. But the utility rate, because of its performance, has kept climbing. The average kept climbing till May 2021, when it exceeded our program rate, and it has continued to climb. And so this is proving the win-win scenario. The blue line versus the green line is our indication that there is the potential for this program to be a better rate for 100% renewable than people would otherwise pay through the utility choice for a non-renewable, which is predominantly non-renewable, which is the yellow line. The red line, flat line above, just for comparison, is what I had calculated at the start of the program that an individual customer seeking a 100% renewable fixed rate would have found. So about 9 cents per kilowatt hour. So the difference between the red line and the green line is the benefit of the bulk buying club model, the aggregation of communities having leverage in the supply marketplace, showing that there's definitely an advantage to offering this benefit for this product to the community members. So that is a quick tour. I hope it's enough for basing some questions. I'll stop there and I'll thank you for the time. Happy to answer questions.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Can you get rid of that feedback? We are a bit behind schedule, but what we had discussed beforehand, because it was such a short window, was we would organize a group of questions for you and send them to you.
Okay.
And then share that with the public.
Happy to answer them.
Terrific. Thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you so much and have a good night. And I apologize for myself for not being there on a beautiful
Not a
night.
problem at all.
No worries.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Good evening. Just apropos of this, the town
Yeah,
is,
we know.
okay, I
You
don't,
passed it, right?
we passed it and we're actually have RFPs out for the
The administrator.
This,
Yeah, hang on.
you know what it is? Could it be that mic?
Maybe.
Do you mind turning that off?
I'm sure.
There's one switch.
On the very bottom of that pedestal, you'll see. Unless I have the volume up way too loud.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Or maybe, or you,
On the left.
or your laptop.
Is your laptop top volume off?
I just turned it off now.
Off?
Still hear something.
Or mute it.
I just did. I turned it.
Something's not right.
I don't want to mute the Zoom.
The reason I bring it up is being at the village is part of the town. I'm not sure if you guys necessarily have to pass your own law.
Hello? Having a little technical difficulty here. Please be patient.
That kind of makes sense.
I mean, it's a,
How's
I
that?
guess it's a question for the lawyers, but.
Yeah.
Testing.
Good.
Testing? Good
I
deal.
don't think.
I turned down the volume on the Zoom meeting.
Unless there was a reason.
All right, so,
the village wanted to be its own-
Before I call the public hearing to order,
I don't know why. Yeah.
I just want to mention one note. We will not be doing the pledge until the regular meeting. So I'd like to call the public hearing to order. It is 6:54 PM on Wednesday. My name is David McFadden. This is the Village of Tuxedo Park Board of Trustees. This meeting is called to order. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor McFadden,
Present.
trustee Brooke. Absent. Trustee Tasker.
Here.
Trustee Sarah. Trustee Shaw. Present.
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees open the public hearing on local law number 3 of 2022, a local law to allow boats and other devices on the Weewaw Lake in the Village of Tuxedo Park. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. First, I will go to the folks in the audience. And then I will go to the folks that are on the Zoom meeting. However, I will make a caveat. The actual law in its final form, in its current form, excuse me, was only issued late today. So I do not plan on closing the hearing today. So if you haven't had an opportunity to look at the local law draft, and I know that the trustees themselves haven't had an opportunity, because I'm the one that's been going back and forth with the attorney, I'll just state right now that if you prefer to hold your questions until you've had a chance to absorb the law, that would be terrific. If you have a comment you'd like to make tonight, that's also acceptable. So I'll start with the people in the room. Jay,
Hi.
just mention where you live and all
Jay
that.
Reichgott at 121 Laurel Road.
Thank you.
Let me start by saying I'm generally in favor of this. I have a couple of technical things, and like you said, it was short term. So in the part of the law about Weewaw Lake, chapter 65, section 4, subsections F and G, which deal with reconstruction of existing docks or the installation of new temporary docks, fell off the draft. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
Yes,
Yes, it was on purpose.
yes.
So then I'd ask the question, why do residents who own property on Weewaw Lake not have the same rights to docks and floating docks as residents on the other lakes?
No, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Our goal is to be able to build another dock if we want to launch other vehicles from.
Okay,
So
so that's the.
that
section-
really should,
That's the sections F and G. That.
yeah, we'll look at that, but that's not the intent. So,
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then, in the sections, chapter 65, section 6, that applies to all lakes. Increase the boat length from 21 feet to 25 feet.
that is correct.
The boat or dock?
Boats.
Just wondering why.
Well, do you remember when we were going to pass a law, present a law about dock and boat size, but we never did because it was never written?
Right.
It's the same reason. Most manufacturers, I think this is what, 15 years old, this law?
I think it was the last.
Something like that. So there's so many new manufacturers out. So you might find a terrific new electric boat that's not a pontoon or a single hull that might be 21 feet or 22 feet. And so that's the rationale behind it.
Okay. Makes sense. And one more, and this is the last one. Subsection J, no person shall place any pontoon boat on Weewall Lake or pond number 3. That's what it used to be. And you've added the exception of boats, kayaks, canoes, and aquatic recreational devices rented out by the village.
Correct.
Which means that, which would suggest the village is going to get in the business of party boat rental on pond number 3 and the Weewall.
Well, it depends on how you define party, Jay. How do you define party?
We'll talk later.
There are degrees of partying.
Yeah.
And the plan is to have someday, if we can afford it, a pontoon boat on Weewell Lake for the members of the beach club to be able to go out and enjoy themselves on the lake.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let me go to the Zoom audience. Do we have anyone that wants to make a comment?
Mayor,
Someone
if
raising their hand.
I got
I'd love
Claudia
to make
coming
a
in.
comment.
Yes, Claudia. We're going to try and get your volume up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Not yet. Go ahead.
How's now? Test 2, 3, test.
Good. We have our echo back up.
Oh, lovely. All right. I just want to make the board aware of a legal interpretation called contra proferentem. And contra proferentem is a legal doctrine where the court will rule against the drafter of a law or of a contract if the wording is vague or difficult to interpret. And so I'd like to call attention to section 4, paragraph B. The last sentence
Let me
reads
just ask you, 1 sec. If Brian's on, can you pull up the law?
Hey, Mayor, I'm still in the car, so I cannot do that at the moment. In about 5 minutes, I can do that.
Not a problem. Thank you. Okay, Claudia.
Yep. So we don't want to get caught in the tangles of contra pro ferterem. The last sentence reads, non-waterfront residents or non-residential party owners with a property or long-term rentals that does not abut the Weewall Lake shall only be permitted to swim in the Weewall Lake if they are members of the Weewah and Beach Club, Weewah Park and Beach Club, during its official hours of operation. And I think the language here, that's the operative phrase, is during its official hours of operation.
Is that you, John?
Yeah, which section is it? Section 4.
Section 4, chapter B, or
Second page. Should be.
Mr. Guzzoni, are you reading from the version that the village posted, or are you reading from the code?
Next section.
no, I'm reading from the village, what was posted on the website today.
Okay.
Chapter 65, section 4.
Yeah, I thought all references
paragraph
to the Weewah Beach Club were removed in a prior version. That's why I asked.
That's possible.
No, this is correct. It's the Park and Beach Club. It's the new name.
It's the Park and Beach Club.
Yeah.
Now, in the last sentence there, the operational phrase is during its official hours of operation. And the way it reads right now, it does not make any sense. So it's very vague and open to a number of interpretations, and it will be ruled against the village. So my suggestion would be to take the operative phrase during its official hours of operation and bring it up front. So during its official hours of operation, comma, non-waterfront residents.
I'm sure
Let me-
Brian will consider that.
All right. And again, paragraph K, where it starts the village further hereby reserves.
Right
Do
there.
you all see that?
Yes.
Now, I don't understand where it says the village further hereby reserves to itself the right and authority to license the operation of the WIWA, the immediate and surrounding property annexed thereto. Is that public property, or are you annexing private property? What are you talking about? People's land, or is this village property only?
We're talking specifically about your land.
Well, I know that. You always are.
No, just the WeWa itself.
Oh, okay, because it's a little vague.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just specify that it is public land or village land or non-private land.
We have the plot number for that? Sure we do.
I'm sure there's no parcel number for the lake.
We'll use the parcel number maybe if that's what Brian wants to do. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Any others?
No, I think that's it. That were my little
Okay.
nitpicks there.
Okay.
Everything
thank
else
you
looks
very
good.
much. All right, thank you. That could be very helpful. Thank you. Anyone else that's watching Zoom?
See any hands?
Okay, how about you folks?
Nope, nothing for me this time.
Okay. So I think we should continue the hearing, as I mentioned earlier, so we all have a chance to read this. I think it's clear that Brian would like to get another look at it as well. There's been a lot of back and forth. So later in the meeting, in the regular meeting, I've made a place to do that. And that's under new business, so we'll get to it then. So for now, what I will do is I will adjourn this meeting. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mayor, can I just suggest hello?
Yes, sir.
I would just suggest at this point, we make the motion to continue the public hearing and state the date and time now.
Okay.
And so if it's going to be the next meeting, just make a motion to continue the public hearing till whatever date and time that is.
Yeah, what I was hoping, Brian, is that because the season starts before the next meeting, I'd like to set a special meeting prior to Memorial Day weekend so that we can have our public hearing then and hopefully close it unless we still have
Okay.
comments.
All right. I just want anybody participating in the public hearing to know that we're going to be
That's a great
continuing it
idea.
at a date to be announced. So
Okay, so
we
what's
know
the
the
notice, what's the notification time? Are we good now that we've continued it? And could we call it, for example, for the 27th on Friday? Or the 26th on Thursday? That would be enough notice?
as long as Elizabeth can get in the paper, I mean, it's just 5 days. Actually, no, you don't need to publish again because you're continuing it. That's my point. If we could state the date and time now, we can just continue it without any need to republish or anything. This way, anybody participating in this public hearing will hear the date and time now that the public hearing is being continued. So you don't have to
Right.
publish it.
So, board. God, this is annoying, Joe.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out which one it is, but I'm not.
Are you available for a Zoom meeting on the 26th, which is a Thursday, 26th of May?
Yes.
Not sure.
Okay. How about you?
During the day I am.
In the day?
Mhm.
What time would work for you guys?
I'm pretty flexible. I'm flexible that day.
Me too. What do you like? 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock?
That'll be perfect.
Which one?
11.
11. Okay, and Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees continue the public hearing on draft local law number 3. A local law to allow boats and other devices on the Weewaw Lake in the village of Tuxedo Park. May I have a second? All in favor?
Just state the time of the meeting. Sorry.
It will be Thursday, May 26th at 11 a.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
David, is the audio on your laptop at all? Sorry, I've done everything I can on my end.
Yeah,
No.
someone's dialed into Zoom.
Switch is keeping them separate because I want to look some more into these.
Don't sign them.
No, you can sign them, but just keep them in a separate file so I can.
So in other words, right, one of us might be logged into Zoom.
Nope. Definitely not.
And my volume's off, right? So that's your volume off.
I'm not even in.
You're not even in.
And to turn everything off.
Thank you for your patience. We're still trying to deal with our technical difficulty here. Any other ideas, John? Right, reboot. Hello, testing. That was pretty good.
Well, he turned the volume down, right?
Oh, is it completely down?
Well, no, I turned the volume, I muted my computer here.
Yeah.
I don't want to mute the screen.
Oh, mute your computer. That's,
I just did. So
Okay,
let's see.
I will do it.
Testing. Can anyone watching Zoom hear me? Raise your thumb.
Yeah,
Yes,
there you
okay, good, okay.
I can hear you as
Thank you,
well.
John. Okay, great. Thank you, Brian. Okay, so the regular meeting
Maybe I'll-
of the Board of Trustees.
Mayor,
May
sorry to
18th.
interrupt. I don't think we ever voted on that continuation of the public hearing. We announced it, but I didn't hear a vote.
Yeah, we did, and then we added the date afterwards.
Okay, very well. Thank you.
You're welcome. I call the regular meeting to order at 7 o'clock. My name is David McFadden. This is the Board of Trustees of the Village of Tuxedo Park.
7:09.
7:10. 7:10 now. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to stand for the pledge. We're also going to stay standing for a moment of silence for the people of Ukraine. If you're able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I'd like to have a moment of silence, please, for the country of Ukraine and its people, and all of those that are helping and contributing to this defensive war effort. Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Patton,
Present.
Trustee Brooke. Absent. Trustee Castro. Trustee Shaw. Present. I'm sorry. Trustee Shara. I should have said deputy mayor. Oops. That's it.
We're good?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, as you may have noticed in the website, we had a terrific event on Sunday, kicking off the Weewaw Park and Beach. Very exciting. We have a lot more planned. We're looking forward to it. Also, I just wanted to note that the trustees that are on my right and left, Tinka Shaw and Chris Kasker, are running again for trustee. We're very excited about that. No one is running against them. I wonder if that's because of you and me, Josh. I'm not sure, but it's exciting that they are, and I'm looking forward to supporting them. All right, let's move on to reports and minutes. Chief?
Okay, for the month of April, we had 231 calls for service, one criminal case, it was closed by investigation, 4 accidents or property damage. We issued 5 traffic tickets, 13 warnings, 4 burglar alarms, 4 medical calls. We assisted the town of Tuxedo Police 3 times. We had 0 assist. I'm sorry, they assisted us twice. I'm sorry. We patrolled 2,755 miles and approximately 756 vehicles daily coming through the gate.
Now, you had a call for a bear in a house.
Yes.
How did that go?
So we got a call of an abandoned house. Somebody, one of the residents saw a bear, what they thought was a bear going inside the house. We had DEC come, they went through the house. Luckily, the bear got out before we got there.
Terrific.
Lucky for the bear or lucky for?
For us. Also, I sent out a letter, disseminated a letter. I put it also on our Facebook page about speeding and cracking down. The past couple of years, we've taken on the model of issuing more warnings and less summonses. But I think we need to change that, and I think we need to take a zero tolerance approach on speeding. So far, we've been doing it for this month, and it's working.
I think it's fair. There's been quite a few warnings that have been put out, and it is, of course, a more dangerous time now with the weather change. Did you want to discuss the June memo?
But I think we need to change that to July 1st.
Okay. Okay.
But so July 1st, we are going to stop honoring non-resident tags at the gate. We need to do so for security purposes. The tags have been, we've had problems, as we've discussed before, with people, well, for one, residents that have left the park and still have their resident tags, and non-residents who don't have business here anymore still have their non-resident tags. And in the past, we've had problems with people giving their non-resident tags to other vehicles. So with this new automated system, we've encouraged everybody to sign up for it. And those who haven't and they're non-residents, they're going to be stopped at the gate and vetted properly. They're not going to get access to the south gate. They're going to have to come around to the main gate and be vetted.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to originally start in June, but because TPS is going till mid-June, it doesn't make sense. And I understand some of the parents' concerns that we've heard already for them to sign up for the system for 3 weeks. Right. So we'll do it on July 1st after school is over.
I'll add, for the benefit of the board and the public, that I arranged for a lump sum deal with the Tuxedo Club and the TPS school. We're accommodating the data entry, and they're both institutions are handling it in different ways. I believe that it's going to become complementary from the Tuxedo Club. I'm not sure how the school's handling it, but it will pay for the system. And maybe with a little bit left over, a little breathing room for something like maintenance. So I'm very pleased about that, and I know both entities are pleased about that. Okay, let's go to DPW.
We've been doing a lot more work over at Wewott Park. We installed electric lines for food trucks and et cetera. Spread 5 or 6 loads of sand. We built new horseshoe pits and cleaned up the area. We did stone steps down at the front gate, along with also mounting the plaque on the stone that's above the wall for down there. We also removed the hedges on the outgoing side and widened that side a little bit with asphalt. Also down at the front gate, we removed the holly trees and the median down there and planted new arborvitae. So that's it down there. Then we installed 2 new village office signs up here. We installed 2 more mailbox stands, one on Summit Road and one on Clubhouse Road. And we've been repairing a lot of leaks. We repaired a service line on Clubhouse Road, a service line on Tower Hill Road. And we did a big water main break today on Ridge Road. We had leak detection here last week for a week. They did the entire system. They found, I believe, 4 leaks in total, Ridge Road being the largest of the 4.
How large?
I think they estimated 30 to 40,000 gallons a day.
A day. We've been fighting this forever.
Yeah.
Let's just say we're losing 50% of what we're producing. And this will go a long way for that. By the way, are you finished?
Yeah, pretty much.
I want to make a special shout out to you and your team for the leaks, for the mailboxes, for the work you've done down at the booth, for the work you did in the WeWa, especially. It really contributed to a fantastic day. And I want you to tell your guys I mentioned them by name so they stop busting me. It's right on the website.
I saw it.
And Chief, also to your team, you guys have been doing a great job. Whether it's a speeding ticket or an animal rescue, and everyone here appreciates that. All right, let's move down the line. How about you, John?
Over the last 30 days, we received 2 more certificate of occupancy requests. Gary Parr, 174 East Lake Road, and Chin, 31 Camp Comfort Road. We currently have 3 matters before the village court at various stages. And we have 1 other violation, but the new owner of 31 Camp Comfort Road is doing all he can to resolve a number of issues, both outside and inside the house. So that's been productive. The Rifkin House at 97 Westlake Road is proceeding very well. So is the Pays property on Tower Hill Road East. There's been a number of projects before the planning board that have been approved. The Devereaux plan to modify and enlarge a rear deck was approved back on May 5th. And were a few other projects. Spinowitz at 24 Acoma Road is coming before the BAR to do some changes to the windows and doors. Waman at 12 Pine Hill Road complained about some bright lights that were facing the road, and that was resolved. And the new owners of 18 Patterson Brook Road are planning to come before the board for some extensive changes to the inside and outside of the house.
Thank you very much, John. You've been doing a great job. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, now, I just wanted to give you an update on the sewer rates and the milfoil. I posted late this afternoon a PowerPoint presentation given to us by our consultant, which is something that I would request that the board members read at your leisure. And the public's, of course, available to read it. And we'll be scheduling a presentation by Ed. And we can decide whether we want to do it for the trustees of the public together or on 2 separate occasions. And I think we can talk about that offline. It's been a very exciting and professional process. We're very lucky to have found this consultant. And there's been a group of us involved intimately. We have John, myself, Tinka, and who's the head of the committee?
Yeah. It's him.
No.
Oh, Jeff. I know Scott Prescott.
Scott Prescott. Thank you.
Yeah, Scott Overy.
Now, in terms of the milfoil, the permits are all in. Approvals are all set. As we mentioned last meeting, they gave us a way to pay over the period of the summer rather than in one lump sum payment up front. So that was good. We signed that contract. I asked them when they expect to start, and they have not gotten back to me as of this point in time. So With that, do we have anything else that any board member would like to add? Okay, let's open the public comment section, please. I'll start here with anyone that has a question in the room. How about in the Zoom audience?
Mayor, if there's nobody else commenting, I'd like to make a comment, please.
Absolutely.
Regarding yesterday's Board of Education election, I want to congratulate Kimberly Bryland and Heather Kitty. Great performance. It seems that both of them got elected. Numbers are not finalized yet, but it seems that two residents of the park are finally representing us and providing accountability. I'd also like to thank the park residents for a notable turnout coming out and voting. That's what we need to do. We need to get a lot more votes for next year, and we let's maybe get a third person from the park to represent us on the Board of Board of Education next year. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome, and I agree with you 100%. Okay, now, anything else? John, do you see anyone else with a thumbs up? All right, thank you very much.
Just make a,
Yes, please.
thank you. This comes from Christopher Gow. The Friends of,
We don't read anything into the record from anyone.
he wanted us to, publicize an event? Sorry.
Publicize an event.
What is it?
Friends of the Racetrack Nature Preserve and the Tuxedo Garden Club will be hosting a steeplechase ceremony and peony garden party on Saturday, June 4th at 10 a.m. They did something similar last year and it was very, very nice. And it is open to all residents.
Okay.
Thank you.
Normally, we won't do that in publics in the comment section.
Oh, I thought it was open then.
No, I haven't closed it yet. It is now closed. Okay. Just so everyone understands, the board has never and does not read people's comments into the record during the comment section. This was an announcement. That's fine. It has to be done in person. However, we will attach your comment to the permanent record. Okay, so everyone understands that? Okay, thank you. Before we move on to the consent agenda, I have a couple questions. One of the items is, let's see, written reports, the permanent record, approval, the minutes. Okay, the April 20 minutes, which is the regular meeting. There was a last minute typo change discovered by Elizabeth, and I did post it. It's posted last on the website. Is it something you can just describe verbally?
Just the description of the resolution was wrong. It should have said VRI agreement. Instead, it said something about a grievance application. And also the placement of it was wrong. It was placed within executive session, but the resolution was not actually done during executive session. The discussion was done during executive session. And when executive session ended, then the vote was taken.
Does everyone want to take a minute and look at that, or would you prefer to, is that acceptable to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, so we have on the consent agenda, add all written reports to the permanent record, approve minutes from the April 15, April 5, 8, 18, and 20. Authorization to hire Acosta Cleaning Services for fiscal year 2023. Renew the MVP Healthcare. The rates are the same as last year.
Not true. The rates are actually up 5%.
It's okay. The rates are up 5%. Can you explain that? Have they given you a reason why?
It was, they didn't give us a reason why. One just expects them, frankly, to increase a little year by year. But it was within the.
Have you all had a chance to look at that?
No.
Yeah, I looked at the pricing. It's not horrible.
Okay,
$800 I think a month for no cares.
okay, good. Thank you, Chris. And approve the request of the Tuxedo Club for their annual fireworks display. Any questions by the board members? Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve items 7A through E on the consent agenda. May I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Old business. Okay, so what Elizabeth was just referring to was that after an executive session last month, the board agreed to hire VRI Environmental Services Group to run the water plant and the sewer plant. They are responsible for all the liaison duties and the day-to-day liaison duties to the DEC, to the health department, et cetera. We're very excited about it. It's cost effective, and no one in the DPW is losing their job as a result. So we feel it's a win-win. It's the contract is online now if you'd like to look at it. Do you want to add anything?
And this means we're not hiring anybody new right now at DPW?
That is not off the table.
Okay.
That is not off the table. Okay, now, election day resolutions to correct date. What are these corrections?
Okay, so first of all, back in March, we had a resolution about election date, noting the time and the place. The date was incorrect. And then last month, we had a resolution authorizing certain people to work. Once again, the date was incorrect. So we have two resolutions to correct the date. And would you like me to read them?
That'd be great, thank you.
So the first one is, be it resolved that the portion of consent agenda resolution 0316-02, which refers to March 16th, approved by the village board on March 16th, 2022, that authorized the conduct of the village election contained an inaccurate election date, and be it further resolved that the village board hereby authorizes the village election on Tuesday, June 21st, 2022, at 80 Laurelard Road in the village, with the polling hours being 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Accepted. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and the second resolution is, be it resolved that on April 20th, 2022, the village board adopted resolution 0420-11 that authorized certain persons to work at the village election, but contained an inaccurate date of the village election. And be it further resolved that the village board hereby determines that all provisions of resolution 0420-11 shall remain as adopted on April 20th, 2022, except for the date of the village election that was indicated on such resolution. And be it further resolved that the village board authorizes the persons listed in resolution 0420-11 to work the election on June 21st, 2022.
You're good.
Thank you.
Accepted. May I have
Good.
a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
To everybody.
Okay, so let's move on to new business. We can cross out A, which was the resolution continuing the public hearing for the draft law. Now, there is a new local law we're required to pass, which is for video conferencing for municipal meetings. Everyone was given a copy of that by Brian. Brian, are you available?
I am. I'm here.
Would you like to just briefly mention to everyone what this is about?
Yeah, so right now we're still technically under the governor's executive order, which authorizes, virtual meetings entirely, but that's expected to expire probably in mid-June. We're not sure if it'll be renewed. So the legislature passed a law now requiring any municipality that wishes to use video conferencing to adopt a local law. And the rules have kind of changed. You wouldn't have a true virtual meeting anymore, but it allows you to have, for example, 3 of you present at the village hall or present at some physically accessible location, and then allows, in certain cases, other members to participate via video conference. If you don't adopt the law, then the village would not be able to use video conferencing at all in any circumstance, except for maybe a state of emergency. So this law just authorizes you to put rules in place if there arises a circumstance where you need to participate remotely, from a location. But the new law requires at least 3 of you to be at a physically accessible location where members of the public can also be present and view the meeting. So it's not really very useful, to be honest with you. But if you don't adopt the law, you won't be able to use video conferencing at all. You will always have to be in person. So that's really the purpose of the law, is to allow you to use that option and to make your own rules consistent with the law to use the video conferencing option.
Thank you, Brian. This also applies to the appointed boards, BZA Planning Board and BAR. So I sent them a copy when I received this last month, and early in the month, and they all commented. And I believe, Brian, you took those comments into consideration?
Yeah, so we tried to keep the law simple, just authorizing the video conferencing and then allowing the respective boards to make, their own rules by resolution, as long as they're consistent with the law and not in violation of it. It's far easier to do it that way than to have your rules in the local law. And then if you need to make a change, you got to have another public hearing. So this law is designed to really keep it straightforward, authorize the video conferencing, and then allow the board to make the rules by resolution, regarding that.
Okay, thank you. And it is currently posted. Elizabeth will notice this meeting.
Yes.
Yep. And so be it resolved that the Board of Trustees schedule a public hearing for local law number 4, a local law authorizing the use of video conferencing for municipal meetings on June 15th, 2022 at 6:50. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
All right.
Second and I, yes.
Yeah, now, folks, we have 3 proposals from Weston and Sampson, excuse me, for engineering services for Tuxedo Lake water main replacement design and permitting, a resolution for engineering service for Mountain Road water main replacement design and permitting, and engineering services for dam safety inspections. The dam safety inspections, that's simple. Jeff or John, do you want to comment on what's going on with Mountain Road water main?
It's an old, they call it transite line, actually asbestos pipe that can't handle pressure. We're constantly having main breaks on it. And it needs to be repaired.
And it's quite long. How long, do you know?
1,300
I
feet, wasn't it?
think it's a little over 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet. And so is this why you felt that we needed to get a design?
Well, we've been having, we had at least 3 breaks in the last year.
At least.
Yeah. And the pipe is known to not handle pressure well.
And do you think that we can turn this into some sort of reimbursable from maybe the water fund, or are we going to go out and get some capital for this? What's the plan?
Well, let's see what it costs, right?
I think we need an estimate on what the project's going to cost. We have to see if there's any grants or any low interest loans that are available.
And let's see. Go ahead. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
DPW also installed the blow-off valve in the town, which should hopefully reduce some of the breaks that we've been having. But the transite pipe is historically known, to have problems after a certain period of time. And Jeff's also told me that it appears that part of this pipe seems to be wet most of the time, at least on the outside.
It's in a wet environment all the time. The outside of it starts to wear away. The inside's fine. It's just the outside starts to wear away over time and it becomes weak.
I know it's short notice for the trustees, but we've had excellent experience with Weston and Sampson. And their prices have been reasonable. We've gone out before. If you're comfortable, we'll vote on it.
Yeah, this is for design, right?
It's just for design. We still would go out to bid for repair, for replacement.
Then it goes out to bid. Yes, sir.
Just as a point of information, transite pipe.
If you don't mind mentioning your name and.
Sorry, yes.
Thank you.
Reichgott, 121 Laurel Road. I'm a civil and structural engineer. Transite is one of the wonder materials of the 30s and 40s.
By DuPont.
It's been discovered to have a useful lifespan of somewhere between 50 and 70 years. So
Wow.
I don't know when it was installed, but no matter how you count back on your fingers,
Yeah.
we're at the end of the life of these transite.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, new technology, hopefully.
since the
Hard
third,
plastic.
Yeah, plastic, and it's quite possible that, we can see, I mean, it might be possible to do something with plastic and fish it through the pipe and.
Oh.
And seal it like that? Line it, I mean?
Basically reline it.
Yeah.
I'm not my expert.
Is this a request to bid?
No, sir.
Let us know. Okay, so be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve Weston and Sampson for engineering services for Tuxedo Lake water main replacement design and permitting service. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve Weston and Sampson for engineering services for Mountain Road water main replacement design and permitting services. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve Weston and Sampson for engineering services for dam safety inspections. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Who knows about this SEQR situation? John, do you know anything about it? Yeah, the secret. This is for what project?
And so is F a valid number? Is that a continuation? from-
Sewer, it's a sewer line repair. That they need a seeker resolution from
Right.
us.
Declaring it
Type 2 action.
type 2 action.
And
Yeah.
because it's an underground utility, it's not exempt from seeker. It just doesn't require environmental review through seeker.
Mhm.
But Brian, they proposed, they gave us a draft resolution with a whole lot of whereases, but I think that we should seek your opinion before we vote on it. It's
Yeah,
their
so-
recommendation.
If you're determining something is a type 2 action, that means you don't need to do anything in terms of secra. I mean, some people adopt resolutions saying that, but the fact of the matter is, if you're saying it's a type 2, you're saying it's not subject to secra, that it's exempt from secra
Yeah, so
under
we
the
have to-
provisions.
we have to declare the type 2 by resolution then, right?
You don't have to, but it's not a bad idea. So this way it's on the record that you determined it was a type 2, but the reality is if you did nothing because you're considering it a type 2, there's no consequence because you're saying it's not an action subject to secra. But since they already have the resolution, if you want to adopt that resolution recognizing it as a type 2, then it's in the record and it's already done. So there's no harm in adopting the resolution that they presented, declaring that this is not subject to secret.
Well, I would, yeah, I'd like to do it if it's okay. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees pass a resolution to conclude secret review pursuant to New York State Environmental Quality Review Act related to renovation and replacement in kind of existing infrastructure. I'm going to include all the whereas. In this, I'll read the first one. Whereas the Village of Tuxedo Park Village Board of Trustees seeks to undertake a capital project consisting repairing, replacing, or renovating portions of its sanitary sewer system of the following description. 1, Village of Tuxedo Park, SSES Phase 3, Subbasins 2 and 10, Public Sanitary Sewer Repairs, Year 2 Construction, Pond 3 and Weewa Dam Trunk Sewers, SECRA Type 2 Action. Including all the whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Tuxedo Park Board of Trustees concludes that no further action is required and SECRA is thereby concluded for this project. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation as an involved agency. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next on new business is a resolution authorizing the levy of unpaid water bills onto the fiscal year 23 tax bills. I included in the public domain a redacted version of that. And we've all been issued an unredacted version. I'm ready to vote if everyone else is ready. Okay, and that's also posted online, folks. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize to levy unpaid water bills onto property, FY '23 tax bills. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now, before we go into executive session, does anyone have a matter they'd like to bring up or discuss? Yes,
Just for the record, to note the abstracts, please.
the who?
The abstracts, the amounts posted to each of the funds for the bills.
Oh, well, it's on the sheet.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on the spreadsheet. If not, I'll make sure you get a copy. I believe it's on the spreadsheet.
No, I don't think you understand what I'm trying to say. Usually we say that the amount of bills posted to the general fund, to the water
Oh,
fund.
okay, okay.
I just mentioned that for the record? Yes.
Yeah, please. Do
total
you
bill-
want to redo it?
I'm just going to say it, that's all. Just note for the record that there were $82,496.70 in bills posted to the general fund, $2,718.81 in bills posted to the water fund, and $553.50 in bills posted to the professional fees fund.
Thank you. Noted. Do you want to do the budget transfer?
Yes, please. So there's a bit of a list here, 9, sorry, thank your patience. From account number 1325.41, which is treasurer computer, $1,350.50 will be transferred to account number 1110.1, which is judicial personnel. From account number 1355.4, assessor contractual, $200 will be transferred to account number 1110.1, judicial personnel. From account number 1325.2, treasurer equipment, $1,880 will be transferred to account number 1320.4, auditor contractual. From account number 1325.2, treasurer equipment, $716.68 will be transferred to 1325.44, treasurer IT support. From account number 1910.4, insurance contractual, $1,639.11 will be transferred to 1670.4, central printing contractual. From account number 1920.4, municipal dues, $835 will be transferred to 1670, which is central printing and contractual. From account number 1989.4, lake management and watershed study, $1,890 will be transferred to 1670.4, central printing contractual. From account number 9040.8, workers' comp, $3,307.79 will be transferred to 9055.8, disability. And last, from an account number 9730.7, debt interest, $15,915.53 will be transferred to 9730.6, which is debt principal. And that's it.
Could you repeat that, please? Okay, accepted.
Wait, I think we have to do a resolution and vote on that.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it changes the budget, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees allow the budget transfer that was just read into the record by Elizabeth. May I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. God. All right, so anything else before we go into exec session? Okay, thank you, everyone. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees move from the public meeting into executive session. It is 7:46 PM. And we will return after that. May I have a second? All in favor?
7:45, did you say that?
7:46 now. I said 7:45 or 6. Okay, thanks, everyone. Yes, you need to stay.
These are ones she wants to review.
Sign these now and give them back.
Give them back.
Are you going to take
Jay?
control of the meeting?